Hello everyone, this is Shomojit De. Today we are going to discuss the solutions of ISI MMath 2020 question based on linear algebra. Okay, it is 2020. Now the first question of linear algebra is the question number 5. That is, the question says, let J be a cross to real matrix such that J square equal to minus I, where I is the identity matrix. Show that if V belongs to R2 with V not equal to 0, that is V is a non-null vector R2, then the vectors V and JV are linearly independent. Okay, this says that J squared equal to minus I. Okay, mind it, J squared equal to minus I, and what we have to prove, we have to prove that if V belongs to R2 with V not equal to 0, then V and JV are linearly independent. Okay, now this is given to us that J square equal to minus I, right? So we also can write this J square plus I equal to 0. Okay, so we can say that J satisfies the polynomial. We can say that J satisfies the polynomial x square plus 1, right? As J square plus 1 I equal to 0, so we can say that J satisfies the polynomial x square plus 1. So therefore we can conclude that x square plus 1 is an annihilating polynomial of J. So we can conclude that x square plus 1 is an annihilating polynomial of J. Let mx be the minimal polynomial of J. Okay. Now, what is the relation between minimal polynomial and annihilating polynomial? We know that minimal polynomial always divides annihilating polynomial, right? So it will imply mx divides x square plus 1. Now, what are the possibilities of mx? So we can say that mx is either x plus I, or x minus I, or x square plus 1. These are the possibilities of mx, right? Now now we can say that x plus I and x minus I cannot be the minimal polynomial of J. Why? As J is a real matrix, right? So we can say that x plus I is not a minimal polynomial of A, and x minus I is also not a minimal polynomial of A. So we can say that x square plus 1 is the minimal polynomial of A. So you can say that x square plus 1 is the minimal polynomial of J, right? Minimal polynomial of J. So we can say that x square plus 1 is the minimal polynomial of J. Now, what is the relation between minimal polynomial and characteristic polynomial? We can say that now what is the relation between minimal polynomial and characteristic polynomial? We know that minimal polynomial and characteristic polynomial have same root except multiplicity. Okay, minimal polynomial and characteristic polynomial have same roots except multiplicity. Now, what is the roots of the minimal polynomial? So what is the root of x square plus 1 equal to 0? The roots of x square plus 1 equal to 0 is x equal to plus minus I, right? So we can say that the roots of the minimal polynomial are plus minus I. Therefore the roots of the characteristic polynomial are also plus minus I, and hence we can conclude that the matrix J has no real eigenvalues, right? Therefore J has no real eigenvalues. Therefore we can conclude that J has no real eigenvalues. What happened? Just a minute. Okay, therefore we can conclude that J has no real eigenvalue. Now what happened to it? Yeah, we can conclude that J has no real eigenvalues, right? Now Now what we have to show? We have to show that V and JV are linearly independent, right? Where V not equal to 0. Now let V not equal to 0. Okay. We have to show that V and JV are linearly independent. Right? We have to show that V and JV are linearly independent. Now claim that V and JV, V comma JV is a linearly independent set. Claim that is a linearly independent set. Okay. Now I claim that it is a linearly independent set. Now if not, if V comma JV is not linearly independent, right? I claim it is not linearly independent. Now if it is not linearly independent, then what we can do? We can write then for some non-zero real number C, we can write V for some non-zero real number C, we can write JV is equal to CV, as there are this set containing two elements, so we can write JV equal to CV for some non-zero scalar C, right? Now what does it imply? As V not equal to 0 and JV equal to CV, so we can say that C is an eigenvalue. C is an eigenvalue of J, right? Therefore we can say that J has a real eigenvalue C. We already proved that all the eigenvalues of J are complex. Contradiction. Which is a contradiction. So we can say that V and JV are linearly independent. Okay. So we can say that V and JV are linearly independent. Now the problem B says, show that there exists a 2x2 invertible matrix U such that U inverse equal to 0, 1, minus 1, 0. I repeat, we have to find out a 2x2 invertible matrix U such that U inverse equal to 0, 1, minus 1, 0. Now how to find this 2x2 invertible matrix? Now we know that for any non-zero V, let V not equal to 0. For any non-zero V comma JV are linearly independent, right? Linearly independent. We know that for any V not equal to 0, V and JV are linearly independent. Now observe that if we construct a matrix W by V and JV, we are constructing a matrix V comma JV. Now see that V is a 2 cross 1 column vector and JV also is a 2 cross 1 column vector. So W is a 2 cross 2 real matrix, right? Now consider U. Now just a minute. Now what we can say about W? Now the columns of W are linearly independent. V and JV are linearly independent. As V and JV are linearly independent, we can say that W is non-singular. W is non-singular. Yeah. if W is singular, then V and JV must be linearly dependent, but we already proved that V and JV are linearly independent for V not equal to 0. W is non-singular, hence invertible, right? As W is invertible, so we are considering U as W inverse. Okay, we are considering U as W inverse. Now what we have to show? We have to show that U J U inverse equal to this, right? We have to show that U J U inverse equal to, I am writing this, just a minute. We have to show that U J U inverse equal to 0 minus 1 1 0, right? Okay, let's start. Okay, I am starting with JU. Okay, I am starting with JU inverse. Okay, so it is nothing but JW inverse and its inverse, right? So we can say that JW. Now what is W? That is J into V and JV. Now, so we are going to multiply this matrix with this row vector, right? So how to multiply this matrix with row vector? Just we have to multiply component wise, right? JV and J square V. Now what is the value of J square? The value of J square is -1, so we can write it JV and minus V, right? We also can write this as VJV into 0 minus 1 1 0. Why? Now you can see that if we multiply this row with this column, we will get this, and if we multiply this row with this column, we will get this, right? So we can write this. Now if we this is nothing but this is nothing but W, right? This matrix is nothing but W, so we are writing here W and 0 minus 1 1 0. Now if we take W in the left hand side, we can write W inverse J U inverse. If we take W in the left hand side, we can write W inverse J U inverse equal to this. Now what is W inverse? W inverse is E, so we can write U J U inverse is equal to 0 minus 1 1 0. This completes the proof. Now to the next question. If you approach this question technically, it is a very easy question, but to be very honest, it is a technical question. Okay, you have to approach this question technically. Now what does the question say? There is a V three-dimensional real vector space. Okay, V is a three-dimensional real vector space, and T such that V to V is a linear map such that T cube not equal to 0, but T cube equal to 0 and T square not equal to 0, right? V is a real three-dimensional vector space, and T such that V to V is a linear map. T cube not equal to 0 and T square equal to 0 shows that there exists a V belongs to V such that the set V, TV and T square V is a basis of V, right? So we have to find out a value V such that V, TV and T square V is a basis of V. Now what we know about V? V is a three-dimensional vector space, right? V is a three-dimensional vector space. Now let's talk about T. What is T? It is given to us that T square not equal to 0 and T cube equal to 0. Now T is a mapping, right? Now a mapping is not equal to 0, that is not a zero mapping. What does it mean? It means there exists a V belongs to capital V such that T square V not equal to 0, right? T square is a non-zero linear transformation, means there exists a V belongs to V such that T square V not equal to 0. Now I can claim that V not equal to 0. Why? If V equal to 0, as T is a linear map, T takes the null element to null element, so TV equal to 0. Now what about T square V? T square V equal to T of V. Now we know that T V equal to 0, so T of 0, so it is 0. So as we know that T square V not equal to 0, so we can conclude that V not equal to 0, right? Now we have to show that V, TV and T square V is a basis of V. Okay, is a basis of V. Just a minute, it is capital V. Okay, is a basis of V. Now what we know, sorry, is a basis of V. Okay, this is capital V. Okay, now we know that V is a three-dimensional vector space and it contains three elements, right? Now if we show that these three elements are independent, we can conclude that this is a basis of V. Now what I am writing, that it suffices to show V, TV and T square V is linearly independent. Now, okay, now let us consider this relation: C1 into V plus C2 into TV plus C3 into T square V. It is equal to 0, right? Now considering this total vector as beta, okay, considering this as B equal to 0, where B equal to C1V plus C2 into TV C3 into T square V. Now as C is a mapping, so we can take T from both sides is TB equal to T of 0. Now as T is a linear mapping, so we can say that this is 0. Now what about TB? Now TB equal to T of C1V plus C2 T of V plus C3 T of T square of V, right, equal to 0. So we can say that C1 into TV plus C2 into T square V, T of TV, so it is T square V, plus C3 into T of T square V, that is TQV, V equal to 0. Now what is TQ? We already know that TQ equal to 0. So for any V, TQ V equal to 0. So we can write this at C1 into V plus C2 into T square V is equal to 0. Now if we take T from both again, we can say that C1 T square V plus C2 TQV is equal to 0. Take T both side again. Now this is also 0. C1 T square V is, so TQV is again 0, so we can say it 0. Now we already know that T square V not equal to 0, right? So C1 equal to 0, right? As C1 equal to 0, now from this relation we can say that C2 into T square V equal to 0. Again we know that T square V not equal to 0, so we can conclude that C2 equal to 0. Now from this relation I also can say that C3 equal to 0. So this hold only when C1 equal to C2 equal to C3 equal to 0. Therefore we can say that V, TV and T square V are linearly independent. Okay, this complete the proof of first part. Okay, there is also second part. What does the second part says? The second part says that suppose SB of S such that V to V is another linear map such that S cube equal to 0 with S square not equal to 0. Show that there exists a invertible map V such that U such that V to V such that S equal to U T U inverse. Now just observe what I am doing. Just if you can recognize the previous problem, we will approach that problem again. We'll use that type of, just a minute, let me erase that. Okay, just a second. Okay, now we can do this. Now what we know that we already shows that V TV and T square V are linearly independent, right? Now we know that there is no difference between a linear transformation and a matrix, so we are considering a matrix W equals to V W, sorry, not W, that is V. We are considering a matrix V T V and T square V. Okay, now what can I say about W? As V, T V and T square V are linearly independent, so we can say that W is non-singular. Singular, right? We can say that W is non-singular, so we can say that W is invertible. Okay, we can say that W is invertible considering U as W inverse. Okay, again we are doing the same process considering U as W inverse. Okay, now we have to find out the value of U T U inverse. Okay, so we are going to find out the value of U T U inverse, right? Now what is the value of U T inverse? Before that I am going to find out the value of T into U. Okay, same process, I am going to find out the value of T into U inverse. So it is T into W inverse its inverse. So this is nothing but TW, right? Now what is, now as this is T and what is W, that is V, TV and T square V, right? So if we multiply this, we can say that it is nothing but TV into T square V into T cube V. Now what is T cube V? T cube V is 0, so we can say that this is nothing but TV T square V and 0. Okay, now this is nothing but TV into T square V to 0. Now we are going to write this as, first of all let me write W in the left side. Okay, not W, let me write, yeah, W in the left side, that is V TV and T square V. Okay, now we are going to write a matrix in this side. Okay? Now what is this matrix? We have to multiply this row with the column of first matrix and we will have to find the value of TV. So we are writing this 0, that V into 0, that is 0. Here is TV, so the component of TV must be 1 and the component of T square V must be 0. Then if you can see that if we multiply this row with this column, we will get this value. Similarly we have to write the column that is 0, this is 0 and this is 1. If we multiply this column with this, if we multiply this row with this column, we will get this value and we can set this value is 0, so we are writing 0 0 0. Okay, now what is this? This is nothing but our W. We are considering this matrix as A, so this is W into A. Okay, so what we can say that, we can say that TW equal to WA. Now multiplying by W inverse from the left hand side, we can say that from the left hand we can write this W inverse TW equal to A. Now we can write that U T U inverse equal to A. Okay, now observe this thing. Now if this is A, what we have used about T, we just use about T that T cube equal to 0, right? We use this fact that T cube equal to 0. Okay, now if S be another matrix, okay, now you have to write this here. Now if S be another linear transformation with S cube equal to 0 and S square not equal to 0, so for some matrix K, we can write K inverse equal to A. By similar fact, for some matrix K, we also can write K inverse equal to A. So comparing this, we can write K inverse equal to U T U inverse, right? U T U inverse. Now from this, multiplying by k inverse from the left hand and multiplying by k from right hand, we can write S equal to k inverse u t u inverse k. So we can write it u1 t u1 inverse, where u1 inverse is equal to k inverse u. This completes the proof. You can see that this is a technical problem, but it is very easy if you can observe this. Okay, first of all, you have to feel the problem. If you can feel this, you can apply you can solve this easily. Okay, that's all. Thank you.